Welcome back. It's Catherine with SafeTechie.com. And before we actually move into setting up your router and your devices and installing software and all those fun things, I want to talk about a few things. And for starters, I want to discuss some of the risks of the internet. And so some of these are probably things that you are aware of are dangers, but I just wanted to delve into it a little bit more and then talk about some additional concerns as well as ways to take action. So the top 5, what I consider dangers of the internet are, pornography and adult websites. So content that maybe not be appropriate for kids at like a young age. Online predators, cyberbullying, social networking. So anything with, Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat, and then gaming addiction, which I'll talk about a little bit more in terms of gaming as in like video gaming and not, gambling, although that might be a concern for your child if that's something that you feel like is a risk for them. So starting with pornography and adult websites. So in terms of age that a child is introduced to adult content or, sex in general, early introduction to sex is highly related to, future risky behaviors, in the future, sleeping with multiple partners. There tends to be this correlation between early introduction in sex and loneliness and sadness, especially when related to frequent pornography use. And then you also kind of have these unrealistic expectations that get set and this false understanding of sex. And so whether or not belief systems on adult websites or pornographic websites being appropriate for adults, I think most parents can agree they don't want their young children being introduced to that content. And so some things to be aware of for threats and warning signs, do your children have multiple tablets and smartphones that they're using? What is their internet connection? So if they're using, Wi-Fi and cellular data and they have access to the internet anytime they want, that's something to be aware of for maybe a higher risk of looking at pornographic websites and adult content. Are they using the internet excessively, or are they using their devices excessively? And then also, are they being super overprotective of their devices? Or they get very concerned if you're, wanting to mess with it, or are they not giving you the password to their devices and things like that? Another danger of the internet is online predators. And the internet, kind of by definition, allows for this massive access to information and doing it anonymously. And so kind of the other way, because of that, it makes it really hard for law enforcement to track predators, and it ends up hiding predators a lot of times. And then because of the kind of the network of the internet, it gives those predators easy access to children and easy access to kind of seek out those children and appear trusting to them. So when you're thinking of your children, there's some threats and warning signs. Again, you want to be aware of, are they participating in chat rooms? Are they participating in social media? And if they are they creating fake profiles, or do you see them talking to people that appear to have a fake profile? Are they talking to somebody with their profile picture is a kitty cat and their name is Mr. Kitties or something like that, right? That's, be aware of who their friends are. Are they being really secretive towards you? When they're online, are they hiding their screen? And it's not because they're messaging their friend, it's because they're talking to somebody they don't know. And when you're aware of those messages that are coming in, the emails, the phone calls that they get, are they getting phone calls or being contacted by somebody they don't know? Right, so all those are kind of warning signs and things you should be aware of when thinking of online predators. So the next danger is cyberbullying. So in the past, bullying maybe was something that happened at school or on the playground, but this current environment of the internet allows the bullying to take place virtually everywhere. So you have this ability to post images and these videos and gossiping without the subject's permission, and video stalking and impersonating. So impersonating would be account hacking, as someone getting access to somebody's account and posting as if they're them and massively embarrassing them, and excluding groups that get created and message groups that get created just to leave somebody out and hurt their feelings. So some threats and warning signs to be aware of. Is your child distressed online? Are they really upset when anytime something gets brought up online? Do you see messages on their Facebook profile that are hurtful and mean? So all of those are things to kind of be aware of when you are worried about cyberbullying. The next concern would be social networking misuse. Social networking falls into the categories of Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. They're this literally this massive network, right? Computers and devices that are communicating with each other for some type of social purpose. And now you even have Vines and these little videos, and YouTube could even considered in the social networking category. But the users are creating a virtual version of themselves, and it's up to that user how much they're going to share. And the etiquette of the online world seems to be very different than the physical world. And so what information is your child sharing online? Look at what type of things are they saying to somebody online that they definitely wouldn't say in person. Talk about that with them. Do they have their privacy settings set up? So all the different social networking platform would be Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all of them have different types of privacy settings so that they won't be set to public. You can make it so that only friends can see their information. It doesn't make it 100% secure, but it definitely is a little bit better than everything they say is 100% public to anybody that searches them out. Some threats and warning signs for that would be looking at their profile, looking at their information. Are they oversharing? Are they communicating with complete strangers? And take a look at their groups and communities. Are they joining kind of odd groups or dangerous groups that you should be aware of? And then lastly, we have gaming addiction. So I'm looking at gaming addiction more from the video gaming, not the gambling gaming, unless that's a concern for you and your child. So some things to consider is the types of games, right? So you have offline games, which might just be your video game console, like a PlayStation that's unplugged from the internet. And then you have online individual games. So somebody that maybe your child is playing online against a computer. And then what's growing is this online communities or social gaming. And sometimes it's just friends playing with friends, but a lot of times it's growing that friends or people are playing with complete strangers. So who are your kids playing with? What type of games are they playing? Are they playing games that have violence or sex and drugs? What are the privacy settings of the game? So a lot of games will have little chat windows. Are they talking with people? Are they talking with strangers? Or are they talking with friends? And then the parental controls. A lot of games or places where you can download games, maybe your Apple store or your Android store, things like that. You can set settings on your child's device and so that they can only download games, for 13 and under, for example. And some threats and warning signs are they playing excessively on their games? Do they get really angry when they have to stop playing? Are they constantly picking virtual games out over the physical life of going out with friends or school and activities? And if they are, again, those are things that maybe you want to discuss with them and talk with them. Some additional concerns. So young children in particular, a lot of times they'll come across inappropriate content by accident. And looking at the search and web history can be a really good way to see what type of things are your children looking at? Are they looking at inappropriate content? And as they get older, they realize that you might check that. They might start clearing that history. So that's something to be aware of. Are you either seeing inappropriate content in the web history, or do you notice the trend that it's being cleared? And another thing to be concerned or to take a look at is these incognito tabs. And so what that is, a lot of parents aren't aware, or people in general aren't aware, that nowadays in browsers, and so your browser is like your Google Chrome or your Internet Explorer or your Firefox, they have this ability where you can click on a tab and you open up what's called an incognito or private browsing. And what that does is it kind of creates a bubble where anything that you search in that time period, once you open up that window, it won't track your history or your searches or cookies or temporary files. And so it kind of creates this bubble, and you can search different content. And then when you close out of the window, it pops that bubble and it deletes everything that happened during that time. And so it is something that you can still protect your children against when we talk in future videos about applications and programs and routers that you can use, and it will catch those things. But it's just something to be aware of, that if you're coming by your kid's computer and they have a private incognito browser open, why are they doing that? What type of content are they looking at and discussing with them? Another concern would be anonymizers. And so what anonymizer is it's a website that you can go to. This is just an example. There's quite a few ones that they have, but one is called Bind2, and you put in your URL the website. But then in the actual web browser, it has this other URL that you can type things into. And it allows you to go to a website within a website and hide what site you're actually going to. And then lastly is the idea between web browsers and applications. So a lot of times when we are looking online, we'll go to a web browser and we'll look at different content. But as far as a parent, you should also be concerned about applications. So, what type of websites are your children going to, but also what type of applications on their maybe tablets or smartphones are they actually downloading, and looking at or deleting. So that brings us to taking action. I kind of feel like sometimes this video can be one of the more depressing at times because it makes it sound like, look at all these horrible things of the internet. But the internet actually can be for wonderful things, and there's educational resources, and there's games, and there's social networking that can be used for really good things. And so the internet can be this fabulous tool. And it's just about taking action to keep your kids safe online and using the internet for good things. And so through this video, we're understanding the risks. In this next video, we're going to be discussing how do you begin the conversation, set rules and expectations, and then we're going to actually protect our family, understanding the internet and the network, protecting your router in your home, protecting the devices in your home, and then lastly, having that open communication in the long run. So let's move forward to the next step of beginning the conversation with our family. You've just taken the first step of understanding the dangers of the internet, and you are one step closer to safer technologies, smarter kids, and stronger families.